few months ago, we checked out the Tesla Model Y. This is a fully electric SUV. And now Tesla Malaysia has given us the keys for the new upgraded Model 3, or better known as the Highland. So is this the best value EV sedan right now? And is the lack of stalks and gear selector going to be a huge problem? Let's go for a test drive to find out more. And before we begin, if you want to learn more about EVs and how is it like to own an EV in Malaysia, don't forget to subscribe us on our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell icon so that you'll be informed of more videos like this. Let's go! Okay, this is it guys, so we are behind the wheels of the new upgraded Tesla Model 3, or better known as Project Highland. So we are in the long range model, so this has a bigger battery and it can deliver up to 639 kilometers of range on a single charge. And that's thanks to its more aerodynamic design. There has a drag coefficient of just 0.219, that's super efficient. And the first thing you notice is that there is no indicator stalks for the signal light and also gear selector. Everything's done through the buttons as well as a touchscreen over here. And without further ado, let's give it a good test drive. So I just go to the screen up here, swipe up. So you just swipe to the direction that you want to head, and then release the brakes. And okay, I need to indicate first. So indicate. Okay, I'm so used to using the syndicator stock, so I need to press the button here to indicate right. Okay, it's clear, and off we go. Alright. First impression wise, it's really quiet in here. The only thing I hear is the sound from the aircon. And we are driving through this cobbled road right now. It just glides through very smoothly. Not bad. So for the new Tesla Model 3, the upgraded version, you can't change the regen behavior. Last time you have like creep, you have the various modes. So now everything's set to auto. You can only adjust the acceleration behavior as well as the weight of the steering wheel. So right now it's set to normal. So this is like the default option that most people will be using. And on this Tesla Model 3, they have a couple of notable upgrades. Firstly, it's interior. So they've actually played around with more materials. So this time, they've added a bit of textile over here on the dash as well as the door trim. So this kind of reminds me of like a Google Home. So you have like one half is like a premium plastic as well as a cloth material. And the Model 3 now also gets ventilated seats. That's a very nice addition, especially for Malaysia with the hot weather. And you also get ambient lighting, which gives it a more premium appearance. So you can see there's this thin LED strip that wraps around from the front all the way to the back seat. So that's a nice touch. On a straight road, this signal buttons just works just fine. It's just so close to you. The ride, I must say that it's much more comfortable than a Tesla Model Y they've tried about 2 years ago. This is much more comfortable, but not overly soft-sprung like what you get on the Ioniq 5. I would say that the suspension is quite a huge improvement over the previous Tesla they have tried. It's much more comfortable, yet it's not overly soft-sprung. Okay, now we're heading towards the bend here, going to further highway. Okay, I still feel the strips, but it's not jarring. I would still say it's quite comfortable. Much better than what I experienced on the Tesla Model Y. That time you can really feel the imperfections on the road. It's really that harsh, but this one feels like a totally different car. And these older strips, there's nothing. You can't feel anything. The fresher strips, the thicker, you can really feel a slight vibration, but not really a big problem. Okay, signal right to go into the highway. Accelerate. Wow, this thing just goes. So unlike other cars where you can set regen mode, this one is actually automatic. You cannot adjust the regen levels. There's no eco, normal, or sports mode. So you want to drive it like a normal person. You just press as much as you desire. But when you want the full performance, you can just put the foot down and it just delivers the full performance. Quite similar to what you experience on the Volvo XC40. And this performance model, this long range model, can do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.4 seconds. That's insanely quick for a car that's priced at 218,000 ringgit in Malaysia, 218. Of course, that excludes the other registration fees and also the order fee. But for this price range, this is the most powerful, because previously the EV that delivers the most performance for your money was the Volvo XC40. That's priced about 280,000 ringgit. That does 0 to 100 in 4.7 seconds, and this is much quicker. And of course, this is in a sedan format. So effectively, in Malaysia right now, this is currently the most affordable sedan EV in Malaysia right now. In fact, with this range, they can do up to 629 kilometers. We said it before. This is currently the most affordable EV in Malaysia that can deliver more than 600 kilometers of range on a single charge. The previous contender was the Ioniq 6 rear-wheel drive. That's priced about 289,000 ringgit, and that's a huge difference. Okay, we're having a slight jam here, so we're heading to PJ State. And one thing I like about the Teslas, that when you indicate left or right, they show you like a side view, kind of similar to like Honda Lane Watch, which is perfect right now, because when we mounted the side cameras, it was blocking my side mirror, but luckily you got this screen so you can have a good view out. And it works on both sides, left and right, both sides. Somehow I think this is better, because on the Hyundai and Kias, you have this blind spot view on the instrument cluster, and that tend to get blocked, especially when you try to make a turn around a corner. The steering wheel does block the screen. That's one of the complaints I had on the Hyundai and Kias, but this one, on a bigger screen, I think it's perfect. I wish there's a way we can just, oh yes, you can move it around. Okay, that's nice. Okay, that's good, because initially I wanted to say that it's a bit too far. I wish it's over here. Okay, this is great. So you can actually move this screen around. As usual, Tesla comes with Autopilot as standard, and it uses vision to detect the cars around you. And now you can trigger Autopilot by pressing the button over here. Previously it was a stock, you just push down. Now you need to press the button over here. It doesn't work. Okay, middle. Okay, it's set. So now set maximum speed at 50. I can make it to 75. And it should slow the car down. So this is similar to what you get on level 2 level 2 advanced driver assist systems. You can see just now the car just cuts in front of me and it slows down to allow it to pass. So this is similar to what you get on adaptive cruise control and lane centering assist on most other EVs, but this is using vision. So Tesla has done away with radar. They've also done away with ultrasonic sensors, so they rely purely on cameras, which is also somewhat a controversial move, because some say that, hey, how can car detect better through cameras alone? In this perfect condition, I think it works just fine, as you saw just now. But I would like to see how well does it work in more challenging situations, like for example in heavy rains or thunderstorms, because that's when the cameras can really get blocked by the raindrops. Because in most cars, they will disable adaptive cruise control and lane centering assist in those challenging situations. So hopefully we can get to test that out in a long-term review. So the car practically drives itself. Of course, you need to put your hands on the wheel. So this is just level 2. This is basically level 2 adaptive cruise control. So all you need to do is just steer the car, and it does everything for you. And on the display, you can see that it can detect all the cars around you. You can detect trucks, you can detect cars, even motorcycles. So the time a motorcycle has passed, you can see the image of the motorcycle just passing by you. So it uses the cameras around the car. So there's a camera at the side pillar. There's also one camera on the B pillar. There's a camera at front and back to detect all around. You can see another motorcycle passing by. Yeah. And you can see the blind spot indicator here as well. So there's another car passing by. See? It's quite small. I wish that this is more obvious. Even better if they could use the entire ambient lighting in the sides as like a blind spot monitor. That'd be much better, I feel. It'd be more obvious. This isn't obvious enough. And similar to the Tesla Model Y, you also get a glass roof. There's no sunshade. Right now, so far I'm not feeling the heat. It's tinted, blocked for UV, not that hot. But I guess if you really want to stay away from the sun, one option is to get a sunshade. So Tesla does sell the sunshade for this. You also can look for aftermarket sunshades as well. Some that looks much nicer, that has a built-in sunshade. Those are options as well. But overall, no complaints on the temperature so far. And another huge improvement that Tesla's made is to make this cabin more quiet. Is they use double glazed glass, not just for the front, but they also do so on the rear. So that makes it much quieter than the previous generation, similar to the Tesla Model Y. Road noise is, for the tires, is quite minimal. The loudest thing I hear is from the aircon vents. That's about it. So driving at 76, so to adjust the speed, just use the right scroll button thingy over here, increase the speed. So now 81, I can make it to 90, but right now I'm doing 72 because there's a car in front of me. And you can also adjust distance by pushing this scroll button left or right. Yeah, so that's how I adjust distance. So you can get really close. Number 2 is the closest. The widest is 7. So you can see it actually leaves a wider gap. Quite simple to operate. Just use this knob over here. So see another car just cuts in and it slowed down a bit. My foot's off the accelerator pedal, but my hand's always on the wheel. And not mistaken, if I leave my hands off the wheel, it should remind me to put my hands on. Oops, I don't think it's centering yet. I don't think I have enabled centering for this. So it's not doing the auto steer right now. So I still need to put my hands on the wheel. Oh, double click, is it?
Yep.
Okay, let me try that.
I don't know whether it's calibrated.
Maybe it's not calibrated. Yeah, it's not calibrated. It's settings
car is
right.
brand new.
Yeah.
Because literally, you're like the first person to drive it.
Okay,
it hasn't even done like.
Oh, wow. You saw that? So the car detected the car that's trying to cut in and he applied the brakes for you. So that's surprising. So I guess that's good if you're distracted, but actually, realistically, I think we can make it because the car stopped, but I think as a precaution, the car actually stopped for you. Okay, we're going to exit here. So we're going into PJ state. I keep reaching out for the stop indicators. Okay, so I need to press a button here to turn left. So that was interesting because I don't think any other EVs will apply the brakes automatically in that situation. So it detects a car that's going off the lane a bit and it stops for you. Because on my Kia EV6, I will just go through as long as it doesn't get in the middle lane. So that's interesting. So I guess that's how they try to get you out of trouble, especially when there are people driving very carelessly on the road. Okay, let's exit here. Press here again. All right, we're going up the ramp. And I need to turn right, so I press the right button here. Yeah. So these buttons, right, it feels, last time I said it's capacitive, but it's not really capacitive. It's more like, you know the Touch ID button you have on the iPhone 7 and above? It kind of feels like that. So you press, right, it gives that haptic feedback. Yeah. To give you the confirmation that you actually press the button. And I will say that these buttons for the center line, I think it's fine for most situations when you're driving straight, especially when the wheel is straight like this. But of course, our concern was what happens if you use it at a roundabout. And we are in PJ right now, and you know PJ, in PJ state, there are a number of roundabouts. So let's try to put it in a test and see how that goes. Because some say that, oh, the Americans, they don't know what roundabout is because, you know, most of the roads are intersections. You just go left and right, you indicate when the wheels are straight. So in this car, when you turn the steering, these buttons move along as well. So let's see what happens when we are going to this roundabout. So level 1, entering a roundabout and exit at 12 o'clock. This should be pretty straightforward. Alright, so indicate left to exit. No issue. Now the next one, let's do a 3 o'clock turn. So we're going to turn to the right. Let's see how that goes. The region is actually quite strong. So going down here when it leaves the accelerator, it doesn't really give me much room to coast. It actually is pretty close to iPedal right now. But it has kind of like auto regen, so it detects the car in front and you actually come to almost a complete stop. I haven't tried it yet, but it looks like it comes to complete stop. So it has that auto detection. Okay, so I'm turning to 3 o'clock, so I need to go that side. Okay, press indicate here. Then I need to exit out, so I need to press here. So luckily at this angle, the buttons is right in front of me, so I can press that. So next roundabout, let's try to do one loop and see how it goes. Okay, indicate right. Lots of traffic here. Let's try to make one full loop. Okay, I'm looping like this. Okay, kind of fun. Go, 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 go. I'm giving you away. So far, Malaysian roundabout, because we go clockwise at this angle, yeah, it's clear lah. I think you get used to this because you know that this is left, this is right. Okay, now we're exiting, so we're gonna press right. Okay. Actually, much easier than I expected. The next one in front, yeah, we're gonna make a U-turn. The front roundabout is gonna be interesting because that's a one tight roundabout. So that's where I think we're gonna have more turns. And let's see how that goes. And also, being a Tesla, everything's controlled from the touchscreen, so you want to adjust the aircon vents because there's no actual levers over here. You need to do this, adjust. And new on the upgraded Model 3 is that you can actually turn off individual. So you want to save more energy, like you want to have driver only, you can just press and hold the passenger side and turn off. So that side, there's no aircon. So all the wind's coming from this side. So turn it on, just tap again, and it's on. And also new on the upgrade Model 3 is you finally get ventilated seats over here. You also get heated seats as well, but the heated seats, for the rear, you really get heated seats, no ventilation. And in addition, you also get heated steering wheel as well. So that's pretty cool, quite literally. And also, you want to see the camera view, you just press on the camera button on the steering wheel. There's surround cameras, but you don't get like the same 360 experience, so you don't get the bird's eye view. So you get like the back and the sides, which is enough to navigate. I wish there's a bird's eye view because hardware-wise, I think it's capable because there's so many cameras around the car, but you only get this view. And one thing I noticed that, I'm not sure whether is it because of daytime or not, but at least the temperature of the screen, I seen the white balance is actually much even than the Model 3. Because the Model 3, the one I tried last time, the previous year, there's a bit of a green or blue tint to it, but now it looks more balanced. This guy's eating into my lane. Alright, it's a signal lah. Okay, going straight. So there's a tiny roundabout in front. I think this is probably the smallest roundabout in Petaling Jaya. So at Jalan 222. Yeah, absorbs the bumps pretty well. I must say that I'm actually quite impressed with the upgrades they made with the suspension. Okay, now we're entering the small roundabout. So this time we're going to have more turns. So let's see how easy it is to reach these buttons. So indicate right, press. Alright, turning over this small roundabout. Left, okay. Okay, because lock and lock is back to the same position. Okay, that's actually much easier than I thought. Because in that tight cornering, when I do the full turn, the position of these buttons is on the left. Okay, press right to go to the right lane. Yeah. Actually, yeah, this is much easier than I thought. Okay, since we're waiting here, there's something I want to explain. So, as you mentioned earlier, there's no gear, selectors, everything's on the screen. So, you just swipe according to direction. To park, you just press P. You press and hold, or press brakes and P. Yeah. And to drive, you just swipe out. Yeah. And auto hold is on by default because in this car, there's also no dedicated handbrake button. It's all auto hold by default. And if anything happens to the screen, you have extra buttons up here, the P, R, and D. So that's accessible as well. So let me just demonstrate. So P and D. Yeah. And this reverse and this park. Yeah. And you can use the screen as well. So going straight, forward, go. And then come to complete stop. So by default, this is basically creep mode. So it's kind of like one pedal driving, which is I think which is my preferred option actually when driving a Tesla. But I don't think you can actually adjust that level. So let's say you want to coast more often. There's no settings for it at the moment. Not like the Model 3. For most people, I think this works just fine. I think you can get used to it very easily, and this is actually great during start-stop traffic because it's like essentially like one pedal mode. Alright, so let's do one more roundabout test and then we head back to Sunway Pyramid to the Supercharger. Okay, entering the roundabout, signal to the right. Making a UE. So you can see right here when I'm making this turn at this angle, the buttons are right in front of me, so it's easily accessible. So now I want to exit, I need to press left, so just press this button here. And we exit the roundabout. No dramas. So there you have it. We tried about 4 roundabouts with different sizes, and this is surprisingly easier than I thought. I think you can get used to it very easily, but maybe things might be different with different angles, but I think overall, even in the tightest roundabout, it works just fine. In terms of driving performance, I think the only thing that's lacking is the ability to change the regen, because for me recently, I like to get more efficiency and I tend to coast a lot more. So I wish that maybe they bring back that option to let you, to coast a little bit more, especially when you're driving long distance. I think that will help a lot in terms of efficiency. And one thing I actually find it pleasantly useful is the blind spot view over here. When you indicate right, left, it shows this view. This is great. Especially right now when the side mirror is blocked. This is very helpful. In fact, this is actually better than a side mirror because you get a wider view. It's a much wider angle. I like the fact they can actually move it around. Just found out about this. So one thing about Tesla is that one of the biggest advantages of Tesla is their network of Tesla Superchargers. So that's like the fast chargers. They can do up to 250 kilowatts, which this car is capable of. So unlike most other EVs where you need to plan manually, you need to use a map to find the nearest charger. Maybe some has the built-in navigation like the Volvo XC40s with the built-in Google Maps. For Tesla, you want to find the Tesla Supercharger, you just go to the map, tap on it, tap on this icon over here, and you will list out all the superchargers near you. And you can see right here, we want to go to Sunway Pyramid. That's the latest supercharger that's just launched. You can just tap over here. You calculate the route, and then it will automatically precondition the battery. So this basically ensures that the battery is at the optimal temperature. So by the time you reach at the Tesla Supercharger, it is ready to give you the maximum charging speed possible. Because in some countries, especially in colder weathers, if the battery is too cold, you get cold gate. You will not be able to get the fastest charging. Like if this car can do 250, you maybe get like less than 100 maybe, as just an example. And if it's too hot, maybe you won't get the full speed as well. So this will ensure that you arrive at the optimal temperature. And one thing cool about this is that when you set this destination to a Tesla Supercharger, it even shows you how much battery you have left when you arrive. So right now we have 89% battery, which has a range of 89% battery, and then we will arrive at 88%. So that's pretty neat. So for example, if you want to do long distance drive, right now the furthest Tesla Supercharger in Malaysia is at Johor, Sunway Big Box at Iskandar. So if you tap on that, so if we navigate to that place, let's see whether we can make it or not. It's calculating the route, and it shows that our current state of charge 89%. We can arrive at the Tesla Supercharger at Johor, Sunway Big Box, with 19% battery remaining. So that's pretty good. I mean, you won't get any range anxiety because with this navigation, it can tell you precisely how much battery you have left. So at least you know you can make it to the next charging point. I think that's great. And one thing good about the Tesla Supercharger is that you don't need to mess around with additional apps or payment cards. You just arrive at the location, open the port, plug it in, and you're good to go. Because the charger already communicates with the car. You don't need to mess with the payment cards because it knows the car. You actually charge the charging session directly to your account. So this is great because often the times when you come to a EV charger that's located in the basement car park, you have problem with signal or maybe a problem with the cards. So you don't need to worry about that. So you just come in and plug in. But of course, this is a start. Tesla currently has 3 Tesla Superchargers that's being live. They're building much more. We know there's one more in Malacca coming up very soon. There are also destination chargers. So for now, you still need to rely a lot of other EV chargers that's provided by other charge point operators like Gentari, Jom Charge, Charge Sini, TNB Electron. So for those chargers, you still need to use an app and need to use their whatever payment methods they use, like Safe Credit Card and all that. So you still need to rely on those chargers. Until then, so hopefully when Tesla rolls out more Tesla Superchargers, this is probably the only thing you need. But for the time being, you still need to do a bit more planning And one thing about this Tesla Supercharger is because Tesla has the full ecosystem. It's kind of like Apple of EVs, right? So when you select a Tesla Supercharger, you can actually see the availability, is it full? You also can check the rates as well. So for Malaysia right now, all of the Tesla Superchargers, they support up to 250 kilowatts, and their charging base, the charging rate is at 1 ringgit 25 cents per kilowatt hour. I think that's a fair pricing. A lot of EV charge point operators have increased the pricing recently. Recently, Charge EV increased the price of their camp power chargers at Berjaya Times Square. Now it's going for 1 ringgit 60 cents per kilowatt hour. Gentari as well, the 350 kilowatt charger is priced at 170. So for this pricing, it's still quite competitive. So okay, now let's navigate back to Sunway Pyramid. We're not going to Johor. I don't think we have time for a road trip. All right. Yeah, so Sunway Pyramid, preconditioning battery for fast charging. But right now, our state charge is 89%, so we won't be able to get the 250 kilowatt charging rate, because you know there's something called the charging curve. To get the maximum speed, you should come in with a lower state of charge, like maybe 10% or less than 20% of state of charge. That's where you can get the maximum charging curve, and then it will start to dip significantly. So that's why if you're planning a road trip, normally Tesla will not actually recommend you to charge to full. So if you're doing a road trip with some charging between, it will actually recommend you to charge like a certain time, just enough to make it to the destination. Similar to other EVs as well. So I will always advise you guys to stop charging at 80%, because to charge the final 20% just takes too long. Most often the times, charging from 10 to 80% is much quicker than charging from 80 to 100%. So stop wasting time, stop wasting money, especially at those chargers that charge based on minute and not by kilowatt hour. But luckily Tesla's charging by kilowatt hour. And of course there's something called the idle fees as well. There's an idle fee. They will charge up to 4 ringgit per minute if you leave your fully charged car at the station and don't move it. And also the fee varies depending on how busy the station is. So if the charging location is 50% occupied, the idle fee is like 1 ringgit per minute, and then increase to 2 ringgit per minute, and increase up. So it depends on the situation. So of course you're given some ample time, about I think 15 minutes to move your car before you start charging the idle fees. So yeah, don't be a hogger. Once you're done charging, move your car so that other people can charge their EVs. And to recap the Model 3, there are two versions. So we're driving the higher spec version, which is long range with a bigger battery that can go up to 629 kilometers. So this is priced at 218,000 ringgit. The cheaper version, which is the standard range model, that has a range of 513 kilometers, which is still impressive for its price point. For less than 200,000 ringgit, you can get a car that can deliver more than 500 kilometers of range. Obviously, that car has a single motor at the back, and that gets you from 0 to 100 km per hour in 6.1 seconds. Still plenty quick. 6.1 seconds, that's still very quick. Alright, so what's my verdict? Well, for this price point, right, in terms of value proposition, performance and the range, the upgraded Model 3 is hard to beat. I mean, for the standard range model, what cars can give you 500 km of range in this kind of trim for less than 200,000 ringgit? And you want a car that gives you the longest distance possible, like this one, that can do 629 kilometers at 218,000 ringgit is unbeatable. My only gripe is that the lack of stock indicators. Yep, we tried, it's not really a big deal. I mean, it's much easier than expected, but I still wish my stock indicators, especially if you're going to share the car with your family members, because I think it might take a while to get used to if you're moving from stocks. But hopefully, maybe the people who come out with accessories like the sexy butters might come out with third-party stocks. Keep your fingers crossed. I think if they do that, I think other people are going to snatch that pretty quickly. In terms of instrument clusters, yes, I still wish there's an instrument cluster, but I think what Tesla has done is to remove as much clutter as possible, because all you need most of the time is just the speed. You can see over here, which is actually not too bad. It's just within your field of view. But I do wish that there is a heads-up display, because that is so much better, because you don't need to keep your eyes off the road. Maybe they add that later on, hopefully. But overall, I think there's no complaints for the price. I mean, in terms of build quality, looks pretty good. I mean, it looks more upmarket now, because with these mixed materials, it looks much more premium, especially with this ambient lighting and the extra cloth material on the top. So in the previous version, for the black trim, you get like a wooden finish, And then on the, if you choose white interior, you get like a white plastic. So this one, you have this fabric material over here. And if you get the white version, it's like a two-tone color, it's black and white. And the white looks pretty good, looks like a kind of like leather finish. Okay, so off we go, and we go into Sunway Pyramid, heading to the Supercharger. And in terms of the gear selector, I don't think it's a big of a deal because we just focus on driving, because you have auto hold, you have the like a single pedal mode with a grip, default grip option, not really a big deal. So overall, the experience is much better than expected. Alright, there's a lot of bings and bongs. And one thing I like is that all these warnings, it doesn't feel so jarring. It alerts you but not so shocking, because like sometimes the BYD and all that, it can feel very aggressive, like what's going on? Maybe it's great if you're micro sleeping, but this one feels more pleasant. And yes, you don't get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, but it has pretty much all you need. You have navigation that's using Google Maps. Yeah, no ways, but if you use Google Maps, then this should be good enough. You have Spotify, and then you also have your built-in apps like Netflix, YouTube, Disney Plus, Hotstar.
Your destination will be on the right.
So I think for me, this is good enough. Also, if you like Waze, so unfortunately you don't have that right now. Hopefully, who knows, they might integrate Waze. Another thing I want to try is there's this new feature called Auto Shift to Park. Shift out park. So as you see here, you want to reverse, you need to use the touchscreen, but it can automatically choose the default setting based on where you are parked. So this is supposed to help you during parking. So I'm going to demonstrate that. So it's a beta feature which is turned off by default, but I can turn it on here. Okay, let me try reverse into the parking lot. Let's get to the parking lot first. Okay, reverse. Okay, I'm going to try that feature. So right now, let's put to neutral. Okay, let's try the park first. And let's go to the settings. It's under pedals and steering. Sorry, pedal steering. Auto shift out of park is better. So when parked, it will automatically shift to D and R when the doors are closed, driver's seat belts are buckled, and brake is pressed. So let's do that. Yeah, better. Yes, I agree. So let's try that. So let me just open the door. Close. There you go. Tap to activate drive. It selects D for you. So I just release, I just press the accelerator, it goes front. I don't need to swipe. So it does that automatically. So that's quite clever. So what it does is it uses the camera to detect your situation. So it knows that the default option is to go straight because there's nothing at the back. So the only way to go is front. Let me see whether I can try that in reverse. Let's try to wait for all these cars to go first. Let me try to do head in and see whether that works. Okay, so park. Do the same thing. Unbuckle seatbelt, open the door, close the door, close seatbelt. It automatically selects reverse. Pretty clever. So it only works this way, front and back. That's it. You know what? If they improve this feature and they use it for 3-point turn, I think that'd be super useful. But it doesn't work for that yet. But these lines are not so accurate, I feel. I think that's why I prefer the top eye view, so you at least get a better sense of how you are in the parking lot. So that's the only complaint I have, if only just a 360. So yeah. Alright, so we're here at Supercharger. Let's charge. Alright, so we arrived at the Tesla Supercharger at Sunway Pyramid, and it's easy to charge with this. You just pick up the nozzle. And you can see right here, there's a button, just press on that. You open the flap. So if this car is dirty, you don't need to touch this anymore. Just press the button and open, and just plug it in. And then wait for it to communicate. It's blinking blue right now, and it's blinking green. So that means it starts charging. So no need to mess with cards or apps. It just charges automatically. So that's the benefit of the Tesla ecosystem. And you can see the charging rate from the screen. And of course, this car is pretty much fully charged. It's at 88%. So obviously, you won't be getting the maximum charging speed possible. So at 88%, this car is only getting 63 kilowatts, which is so much lower than what you get on most other EVs because this is a 400 volt architecture. But you're getting a rate of 370 kilometers per hour, which is pretty decent. So yeah, so it takes 20 minutes to charge from 89% to 100%. So as I was saying earlier, if you're doing long distance trips, you want to make a quick stop, there's no point charging beyond 80% because it just takes too long. So there you have it, just as a quick demo of how the Tesla Supercharger works. And obviously you want to get the maximum performance of 250 kilowatts, you probably want to arrive at a station with about maybe 5 to 10% of state of charge at a very low battery percentage, and that's where you can get 250 kilowatts. But since this Tesla is based on a 400 volt architecture, you won't be able to sustain that 250 kilowatt charging rate for long, probably about maybe a few minutes before it starts to dip down. So that's one of the disadvantages of 400 volt architecture, but still fast. And one thing is the advantage we mentioned earlier is ecosystem. You don't need to mess with cards. Just come to a charger by navigating it. If you do the preconditioning, just take the charger nozzle, press the button, open up, plug in, and you're good to go. And of course, you also have the Tesla app. So it will remind you when your car's about to be finished charging. And that's where you can come to the location right before it's finished charging to avoid that idle fee. So there you have it, a quick test drive of the new upgraded Tesla Model 3. It has a number of welcome upgrades like the ambient lighting, ventilated seats, and also particularly the improved suspension. I think that's a huge improvement, and I think this is much more comfortable than what you get on the Tesla Model Y. Of course, there's a couple of small niggles like the lack of the stop indicators as well as the gear selector, which isn't as bad as I thought, but I still wish the physical stop because that's just too common for most drivers right now. Especially if you're going to use this car as a family car with different family members driving it. I think having a physical stop is still the best solution. I mean, come on Elon, why take off something that works? Nobody's complaining about the stocks. But overall, this car is hard to beat for its price range. The base model as well as the long range model that can deliver up to 600 kilometers on a single charge, that's something that the BYD seal has to beat, and that car's not even launched yet. So what do you think of the Tesla Model 3? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, like us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe us on our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell icon so that you'll be informed of future videos. This is Alex from soyachinchao.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye!